Hey, what's up guys? Kris Krohn here, and welcome to today's YouTube Live. We're going to be jamming today about this. How do you do real estate in 2020, and even should you? Like, is real estate now a good idea, or is it actually a really bad idea? Look at all the chaos in the world. So we're going to be jamming on this, and I've got four strategies and tips to share with you, because I want to show you how to build wealth during this crisis. And if you've been waiting to jump in, the best entry point is always a crisis. So we're going to talk about that. Now, what I want to do is I'll give some shout outs because we're here on YouTube. I've got people here from Instagram. Welcome guys, glad to have you here. Team, let's get some names. Let's do some shout outs. Who do we got? Start reading them off, Ryan.
We got Blake Stevenson.
What's up, Blake? How you doing, buddy?
We got Live Days 365 Days.
Live Days 365 Days. Who else?
We got Observe Don't Observe.
Guys, do me a favor. On the comments, drop your name, tell me where you're from, and we're going to line up the comments here because I want to do some shout outs.
We got JR from South Africa.
What's up, JR? South Africa in the house. It's been 3 years since I've been to South Africa, and I didn't quite get a chance to swim with the great whites, cage free. But I'm doing that next time I'm there. Welcome, glad to have you here. Who else we got?
We got Kelly Sullivan from California.
Kelly from California. Sorry, dude, about all those fires. Crazy, man. Welcome.
Oh, and we got Austin from Utah.
Austin from Utah. We got Utah in the house. What's up, Austin?
And Spencer from Charlotte.
Spencer from Charlotte. Welcome, glad to have you here.
And then we got Amy from India.
Amy from India. Friends, this is truly international today. So glad to have you guys here. Listen, what we're going to do here is we're going to do some interacting, and come check it out. I've got my staff and team here. They are going to be monitoring all your comments and questions. But if you have a specific question for me, let me show you the best way to communicate with me. It's not in the comment bar. It's right here. This is my cell phone. And if you don't have my cell phone, I want to make sure that you actually save it on your phone. It's 385-217-3477. Works really well inside the United States. I'm sorry if you're international. But connect with me, and this is where I want you asking questions today, because I am going to do some open Q&A at the end. So welcome to the party, man. We are going to have a very, very important conversation, because I've never met so many people that are confused by this crisis. This pandemic has created such negative and nasty impact. It has hurt people's employment, but it also has people confused about investing. They're actually wondering, should I be investing in real estate right now? I mean, isn't that a dumb decision? So we're going to jam on that. But first, guys, as we get any questions here, people, you got my cell phone. So as people have questions.
Lawrence Rutherford said, hey, what's up? I'm here.
Lawrence Rutherford, what's up? Glad to have you here. All right, so listen, if you guys are going to be texting your questions, my team is going to filter those so I can be answering the best questions. Do me a favor, ask smart questions. All right, Casey, here's what we're going to do. I want to tell you why I am making today's video. It's because of this. Fortune magazine came out and they said, so far this year, guess what's happened to real estate? It's running 27.5% higher than last year. In other words, real estate is in a boom. On top of that, they say May through August, our new contracts since 2019, they're up 50%. And there are many reasons why this is happening, but at the same time, people are afraid that we have a bubble coming. For example, this also comes from the same article. It says, these increases are unsustainable. We're going to debate whether that's true or not. Prices will keep rising in double digits for another 6 to 12 months, says Ed Pinto, director of American Enterprise Institute from the Housing Center and former chief credit officer from Fannie Mae. So here's a big wave from the finance sector. He says, dude, real estate is going to be looking good for 6 to 12 months, and then guess what? There's going to be a big crash. Let's talk about why. Right now, we do not have enough real estate to support what people are demanding out there for 3 reasons. Number one, we don't have people wanting to move out of their urban homes, but that's where people want to move. They're taking social distancing to a new level, as in let's not separate by 60, let's separate by 60 miles. So people are leaving the cities. Builders, they can't keep up with the demand. And remember, the government put a moratorium, forbearance on banks saying you can't foreclose on people. So everyone thinks that we have a bubble building. Will there be a crash in 2021? Right now, is real estate the dumbest thing that you could do? Or is it the smartest thing? And I want you to weigh in. here on your YouTube comments, tell me what you think. But if you personally have a private question for me about what we're jamming on, you're going to go ahead and text my phone number, 385-217-3477. That number is never going away. So save it in your phone and let's be connecting with each other. So, Carson, are we getting any questions from anyone lit up? Because I'm going to keep jamming and going.
Keep going.
But I want to make sure that we're creating value for you. First of all, do you think there's going to be a crash in 2021? Yes or no? Go to your YouTube comment bar and just light up a bunch of yeses or a bunch of no's or a I'm not really sure, because I want to know where you're at for what I want to teach you, and I want to share it with you based on what you guys think. So, right now, comment below on the YouTube link, and I just want to see the yeses, the no's, and Ryan, if you have those, start shouting out.
Yes. Oh, Charlie Meltzer said no.
There's not going to be a crash.
No.
Charlie, I like your answer, but we're getting a lot of yeses. People are worried.
Random person said yes.
Random person said yes. Is his name Random Person?
That's what it's.
That is a really interesting name that you've given yourself.
Valerie Small Richard says yes. Eric Rutledge says yes, or at least a correction.
Got it.
Low supply.
So check it out. Right now, the predominant thinking that we're getting from you is, Kris, there's definitely going to be a bubble. Let me share with you why I think if there's a correction, it's going to be really tiny. I'm going to share with you where it's going to be felt. And the reason why I'm giving you this information is because you are set up to be financial losers in the next 5 years. Because if you believe the media and you take action on this garbage, guess what? I got news for you. Recessions are when you buy as much real estate as possible. But the media will tell you it's blood in the streets. The media will tell you it is a horrible time to be buying real estate. And they think a big bubble is coming. But I'm going to break this down for you. How does a bubble get built and how does a bubble pop? Because here's what I want to share with you in a little bit. I'm going to share with you, first of all, what's going to happen to real estate values. They are massively on the rise, and today's question is, are they going to stay on the rise? Then, I'm going to talk to you about how to buy real estate strategically and why you should buy as much as you can. And I'm going to give you two strategies. I'm going to share one that requires almost no money at all. I'm going to share another strategy that is about going into really strong markets. Now, again, if you have questions for me, just go ahead and text me. My team's going to pop in. And Carson, as you guys get questions, just pop them in as fast as you guys can, because I want us to be sharing this dialogue and connection together. All right, first of all, let's talk about bubbles. Come on here, Ryan. Okay, understand this about how a bubble forms. Real estate is always going up in value, but it doesn't do so evenly. It looks like this. There are times when real estate is going higher than the value it should, and this builds exactly what you would call that. That's called a what? That's the bubble. But then real estate corrects and goes down, and before it comes back, this is what I call a trough. So if this is your bubble, and this is your trough, then the question is, well, Kris, if I buy in the bubble, when it corrects, I'm going to lose my money. So I shouldn't buy here, and conversely, I should buy here. The question is, where are we? Well, I'm going to superimpose a different idea on here. And the idea that you need to become familiar with is called supply and demand. Here's what I want you to know. When you get to this trough, demand goes through the roof. Once we start building a bubble, this is where supply is through the roof. And we'll get to a point that if we have more homes than people want, we have to move into a correction until demand rebuilds. So if you want to know whether there's going to be a bubble, you just have to ask one question. What is the current demand for real estate? Don't be afraid that people are demanding it and it's going up. The question is, how much supply is there? My entire strategy for how I make millions of dollars and why I'm so excited about the next 3 to 5 years is the answer to this question. What will happen to real estate values? The real question is, what is the supply? Did you know that as of first quarter this year, we are missing 1.3 million homes in America? In other words, since the 2008 crash, when this one of the biggest bubbles we have seen since the Great Depression, they call it the Great Recession. This right here marks 2008. We never recovered on supply out of this. Values do continue to keep it rise, but guess what? We are not going to build 1.3 million houses more than we need in the next 6 to 12 months. Ed Pinto is wrong. Now, you do need to understand something about a correction. We are going to have a buildup of supply dump in our lap, and the question is how much. Remember that this is a government-forced recession. It's not normal. This is politics. And here's what those politics are really saying and communicating. And Carson, I'm coming your way with the lineup, okay? Here's what the politics are really saying. They're saying, we're going to force this recession on you, and because of the forbearances, eventually the government's got to say, banks, if you need to foreclose, you can. How many homes are going to go back to the bank? There's going to be a ton. And when that happens, it is going to make it like literally one of the best times to be investing in real estate. But the correction won't be that big because the government who created this recession is not going to get a 10 million person lawsuit because they created all of this drama and they should face the news. If we have a Democrat especially coming in office, guess what they love to do? Spend our tax dollars, print money, and create social programs to help, especially in situations like this. So,
it's a great question.
Here's this first question that we have right here from community. Thank you for texting me. This is Nolan. And Nolan says, any concerns about the eviction moratorium continuing? By the way, Nolan is one of my personal partners in real estate. So just big shout out to you. And I want you to be aware that I love this question that you're asking. He says, are you concerned with investing in Central Florida because COVID-19's hit on tourism? Well, let me actually show you. Move ahead here, slides until I say stop. Let's go back down. First of all, some of you might be wondering, Chris, what is a forbearance? Nolan, you get this. It's a temporary postponement on paying your mortgage. It's dinging those people's credit, but the banks can't foreclose. Watch this, keep going. Slide, 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 slippity slide, boop, stop. Go back to that graphic. Right here. Did you know that the delinquency rate is currently 6.6%? That means that of the 70% of all homes held in America right now, 6.6% of them are going back to the banks. And the question is that number big or is that small, Nolan? Well, did you know it's only up since 2019 of July, it's only up 2.8%. That means before it was like 6.58, and now it's 6.6. In other words, currently so far, we don't have people going delinquent, and that's because of the forbearance. Now, despite Disney World shutting down and firing all its staff and now opening up at 10%, guess what's happened to people that are in our homes? We kind of buy the nicer single-family homes. So you as my partner, we're buying homes right now that are showing 25 to 30% per annum ROI. That means you put $1 in this year, and next year you're getting 30 cents on the dollar. In 3 years, you've made your money back. You hold on to that home for 5, 6, 7 years, you're going to be making money through the roof. So, does this apply to the real estate arena game that we're in right now? Right now, we're not having a problem with delinquencies. And we're in a safe market where we're in the nice neighborhoods. The average tenant makes $60,000 a year. These people take care of these homes, and a lot of America's gone back to work. So this is what we've seen in the last 6 months. Rents have gone up on average $25 to $30 per property, and instead of renting in 5 weeks, they're renting often in 2 weeks. So the rental market becomes super strong when the real estate market goes down. But remember, we're also buying in a price range that supports us. By the way, some of you guys don't know who Nolan is or what he does, but he's a real estate partner of mine. And people that have money sitting in 401ks or IRAs that are like, dude, Chris, you bought 4,500 homes. Can I partner with you? And you're welcome to text me on my community. You're welcome to text me and talk to me about that. We can chat on that.
Chris, let them know that you'll follow up and text all.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to make sure by the end of the day or maybe tomorrow, I will personally be reaching out to all of you guys if you have any questions. We won't get to all your questions.
Just text.
So Nolan, I hope that, by the way, answers your question. I appreciate that. All right.
Another one?
Number 2.
Richard.
This is from Richard Streicher. That's a German name, dude. I speak German. Hello, I have a question. Are foreclosure homes something you should purchase or stay away from? I'm a beginner. Thanks in advance. Richard, I'm just going to tell you right now, you want, well, first of all, I want to say it this way. The goal is to buy a really good deal. You can get good deals. I get them in 17 different ways. Foreclosure is one of those ways. Auctions is where I pick up a lot of my real estate. So instead of saying I should look at foreclosures, instead just say I buy really good deals, and foreclosures is a way you as a beginner can actually get a good deal on real estate? Fantastic question, man. All right, so here's where we're at. Here's the question. Are we going to experience a big bubble? And the question is this. Will we have more than 1.3 million foreclosures or not? Well, right now we're missing 1.3 million homes in America, and that is what is driving the price up. If we have another million homes go back to the bank, then that number of supply is going to drop, or is it? Reality, you guys, is that we're so far away from building a bubble. What do I think will happen to real estate in the next 5 years? What you've seen this last year, the values year over year for the next several years is going to continue rising. Now remember, 2008, I did this when everyone said, it was very similar to this. People were terrified of real estate in this market right now in 2008. And I was out there buying everything that I could. And guess what? Within the first 5 years of buying those homes, I made more money. I was averaging 30% a year on my money. And I'm doing that right now again. So, in my opinion, dude, I'm out there, I'm aggressively buying as much real estate as I can, but there's a reason why. I'm going to skip ahead. The final strategy that I use for getting in and buying real estate is I buy single-family homes. I buy them in the best markets like Florida, like Memphis, like Indianapolis. And I have a team of 200 experts that actually do this all for me. They put in 341 hours per deal when I buy it. I'm buying a home every other day. So this is a strategy that I'm using, and here's what you want to be thinking on this one. If you saved up any kind of money, you might have nothing in the bank, but do you have something in life insurance or a bank account, or meaning do you have money like a 401k, an IRA? Has the value of your home gone up and you are equity rich? Like, is your house worth more than you owe? You go to the bank and pull some of that money out. That money should be put into the real estate that is producing 30% annual ROIs, and for the next 5 years, it's going to do that year after year after year is my best guess. Which means you can create a fortune for yourself in the next 5 years while everyone's trying to figure out what all this panic means. They're worried about the political scene. They're worried about the Republicans and Democrats. They're worried about who's going to come into office. The stock market is going to be volatile. Real estate is going to reign supreme. All right. So, do you guys other comments and questions that we're getting?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. We've got this one. This is from Jordan. Great, I will be attending. Thanks. I'm struggling with building my credit up. Any suggestions on the best resources that can help me? Well, I'm going to talk to you right now, Jordan, about the best strategy that you can get your hands on right now. By the way, guys, the information I'm giving you, I'm going to be going 3 days in depth on during my November virtual event. You guys probably have seen an email from me about it, or I've told you about it. Instead of hosting a live event for 500 people, we're going to have more than 1,000 people from all over the world joining me. And instead of paying thousands of dollars for flights and tickets, you can pretty much get into the event for free because I'm coming to you. It's going to be highly interactive. Tickets are $199, but you only pay that at the end of the event if you loved the event. So honestly, I found a way to make this event free because you need to get this information. Jordan, to answer your question, by the way, can you guys drop a link? We're going to drop you guys a link.
Everybody that texts will get a link.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a link. By the way, if you are saying, Kris, I've always wanted to come to one of your events, I've never gone, and if this is your first virtual because of COVID, then I want you to come right now. I want you to text me 385-217-3477 and say, Kris, I want to come to your 3-day event, and I'll show you how you can get it for free. All right. Jordan, best strategy, the other best strategy that I want you to be contemplating, and for any one of you that is saying, I have a problem with my credit, or I have a problem with money. And do you guys know what I mean by that? Like, I don't got enough money. When I started my entire real estate game, Jordan, I was broke as a joke. But I wasn't broke here. I had hunger, and I had ambition. And I met 3 people that had each made over $10 million in real estate. And I said, can I follow you guys around and will you show me how to do this? And 2 of them said no, but I still followed them around. And the other one said yes. And I basically got a chance to learn directly from them. And that's who I've been now for a lot of people over the last 10 years, as I've been showing people since I became financially free how they can and how they should become financially free too. I'm going to show you Jordan right now. All right. If your credit is down, there's a couple things that you should do. First of all, last month I posted a video about how you improve credit. So you should go search the last 30 days of my YouTube videos I've dropped and just look for the one about credit. That's going to get really specific, but here's one of the best ways to actually boost your credit. It's to actually buy a house. But you're saying, Kris, I don't have good credit. How can I buy a house? How will a bank lend to me? Well, there's actually two ways to do this. One is to do a seller finance deal. In other words, don't find a bank, find a good deal, and negotiate with the person selling to add you to the loan. They can basically add you to title. This will build your credit, like stronger than anything else you can do, and at the same time, you still own the house. When I learned this is how I bought my first 22 of my 25 homes were bought with the strategy I am sharing with you right now. I did seller financing, I found someone with a good deal, I said, I'm going to take over this house. I'm going to rent it out for you. I'll manage that. It made me a ton of money. It made them money. But then guess what they did? They added me to the loan. They added me to the title. And if you do either of those two things, banks will say, wow, good credit or bad credit, you got a house. We'll give you another one. And so for further details, Jordan, I want you to go and watch that YouTube video that I posted in the last month, maybe a month and a half, on how to build your credit at every and any age, and that'll be helpful for you. Right now, you got to be thinking, in the next 12 months, I've got to find a way to buy 5 homes. Even just one. Why? Because your real estate is going to grow, but you got to keep it safe. How do you keep yourself safe with real estate? Follow these rules. Buy single-family homes. If you don't know how to do that, text me and I will get you a free custom game plan. Come to my live event. I'm going to teach you how to do this. Because remember, I started with nothing. The second thing you want to do is I want you to purchase that house under a certain threshold. I am sticking to all of my purchase prices under $200,000. My average is $142,000. Here's why. When the market goes up, $1 million home can become a $2 million home. And when the market goes down, a $2 million home can become $1 million home. A $500,000 home could become a $300,000 home. A $300,000 home can become a $220,000 home. But a $140,000 home becomes a, $140,000 home. Like, it's so insulated from correction, and yet you pick up the cash flow, the tax benefits. That's why during a recession, you're always going to find Kris Krohn doing one thing: buying as much real estate as possible. Guess what I'm doing right now? I am buying maximum real estate. Ryan, last month, did we have one of our best real estate closings of the year?
We sure did.
Yeah, so by the way, I am buying, Ryan runs one of my teams here for just buying as much real estate as we possibly can. And it was a record last month, and you're gonna see every month, I'm gonna shoot for new records, because now is the time to be buying and owning real estate. Everyone thinks there's gonna be a bubble. All right, next question. All right, Miller O'Boyle. Miller texted me and said, hey Kris, on my first deal, should I look for the 3 to 6% down and slave to pay the mortgage, or work a year or two more and put 20 to 30% down on a rental? In a competitive marketplace like Charlotte, I struggle finding any deals below national median. Can I expect more if there's a crash? Okay, Miller, I got a couple of thoughts for you on that, and I want everyone to make sure they understand what I'm sharing. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. What Miller's first of all representing is, it says, I'll put 3 to 6% down on a home. It's just 3%. This is what happens when you buy a PR. It stands for a primary residence. In other words, the government is set up to say, if you want to own a home, you don't have to put down the standard 20% like on an investment property. Now let me put some numbers to this. If we're talking about a $250,000 home, 20% is 50 G's. That's rich for a lot of young people that don't have money. 3% on a $250,000 house is like $7,500. This, with like time, work, effort, and savings, this is super attainable. This is harder for people, unless you're accessing like a 401k or an IRA or equity in another house. By the way, I gotta drop this on you. How I really make money is only doing 2 things. And you want to write these down, because if you want to be rich in real estate, listen really carefully. The first way I get rich is I transfer low yield assets to high yield. J.D. Shea, French economist, basically said that's what wealth is. The world is used to stupid 1, 2, 3% garbage, 5%, 6% garbage. Real estate is my double-digit gain. So what that means is that if I have money sitting in the stock market or a 401k or IRA doing like an average of 6% over its 30 years, if I can put it into real estate and earn 30%, I'm gonna make 25 to 40 times more money over 20 years in that double-digit ROI. So it's like, Kris, how'd you get rich at 26? Rule number 1, when you have any kind of assets, you move it from a low yield to a high yield. The second game is you learn how to get really good deals or how to access good deals. My friend out there in Charlotte, guess what you need, Miller? You need a buddy that actually can poach really good deals for you. So let's answer your question. If you're cool moving, then a 3% down is a small amount of money, and a primary residence at the right price is a killer smart deal. But if you're able to save really aggressively and set up 20%, have 40 or 50 grand setting aside, you should honestly be texting me and saying, Kris, if I got that money in a 401k or IRA, I hear you have leftover really hot deals. I'm struggling to find one. Can you hook me up? And guess what I do? Dude, I hook up people all the time with all the good deals that I find with my team of 200 experts. So, buddy, great question. Thank you. All right, next. Let's see what we got.
Good, Joseph.
All right, Joseph. Joseph Talley, what's up, brother? Joseph said, how do you build equity and pay yourself in a rent-to-own option? Joseph, this is a really good situation. Some of you have heard me talk about rent-to-own, lease options, compassionate financing. They're all synonymous. They all mean the exact same thing. And here's what I want you to get. I'm going to do a little comparison here on this house and this house. I buy this house for 180 grand, and I buy this exact same house in the multiverse for 180 grand. This house, I choose to rent. And this house, the renters over time, they beat up the carpet, they beat up the paint, I earn some cash flow, because on this house, I put 20% down, and so look at the numbers. I rent it for, let's call it $1,200 a month, but my mortgage is $1,000 a month. So by the time I'm done renting it, I am making $200 a month. Now, for some of you, that's really exciting. Can I show you something like way more exciting? Check this out, Joseph. If I do a rent to own, and if you're using my contracts and setting up the way I teach it, like in my Straight Path book, which you guys know you can get for free, it should be on your shelf. Read that thing, do not click dust on it. Then this home that you could rent for $1,200, that your mortgage is $1,000 on, the moment I do rent to own, Kris Krohn style, the way I teach you to, even without putting a 20% down payment, instead of collecting $1,200 on average, guess what I'm collecting? $1,500 bones. And $1,500 minus the $1,000, I'm not positive cash flow $200 a month, I'm cash flowing $500 a month. But this person also gave me on average $5 grand up front. This person gave me first and last month's rent and a deposit that I have to refund. This $5 grand is mine, it's in my pocket, I'm gonna spend that, plus the $500 a month. I make 2x, double my money on this. So over 5 years on this house, I'm gonna make 30 grand, and on this house, I'm probably gonna make 75 grand. If you don't know exactly how I did that, then just go to any of my YouTube videos, and in the description below, you're gonna see, get Kris's, Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth book for free. Read that. But more importantly, I've got a team that can actually teach you how to do this and work with you. I always have two types of people. I've got slow people and fast people. And I want you to ask yourself right now, are you a slow person or are you a fast person? If you're slow, you read books, you get knowledge, you subscribe to my channel, you watch things, but you're not really doing anything. Here's what fast people do. This is what I did. I basically said, this knowledge is dope, but I'm not going to go buy real estate because I read a book. That's freaking risky. I need a mentor. When you need a mentor, fast people, they have this shortcut in life. And the shortcut is called stop screwing around. The shortcut is find the person that knows what they're doing and let them walk you through it. If you don't have that, dude, just text me and say, Kris, I want that. You know what I'm going to tell you? Mentor with me for 3 days, basically for free. It costs next to nothing to attend my 3-day event. And I'm going to break all of these strategies down like step by step by step by step and spoon feed it to you the way I do in my YouTube videos. All right, guys, great questions. Awesome. By the way, if you're liking this video and it's helpful and it's useful, do me a favor. give it a thumbs up, throw some hearts my way, or just comment loving this video. You can do that right there on the YouTube chat. I'm still getting questions here on my private cell phone that I gave you guys today. Lynn here, what is the advantage of taking a loan rather than paying more money down up front? Ooh, Lynn, I'm so glad you asked that question. Warning, what I'm about to say will not be approved by your parents. What I'm about to say will not be approved by your financial planner, your CPA. In fact, no one in the financial world is going to like what I'm about to tell you. But then again, if you listen to them and you like them, you'll never become financially free. So one of my rules is never take advice from someone who's broke when it's financial. Don't take financial advice from someone that isn't where you want to be. So, Lynn, you've asked a really good question here. Let's say that I've got $50,000, and I can either buy one house with 50 grand, or I can buy two houses with 25 grand each. What's better in real estate? One home earning 30% a year, or two homes each earning 30% a year? Not all my eggs in one basket, less risky. More cash flow, for sure. More tax benefits, for sure. Everything financially will be better in this situation. And here's what you need to know. Do you know what interest rates are right now? If you've got bad credit, listen up. If you have no credit, listen up. The person next to you has great credit. You can do deals with them. You can rent their credit. Banks right now, interest rates are sitting at like 2.92%. This is called free money. Do you know the last time interest rates were this low? 50 years. So by the way, if you want to secure the freaking cheapest money on the planet, when the market comes back, rates go up, everyone's like, well, I guess we get our houses for our money for 5%, 8%, 9%. You have locked in on as much real estate as you possibly can at freaking 3%. Are you kidding me? I am buying as much as I can, and Lynn, I am putting as little down as possible to buy as many homes as possible, because I like building wealth 2 times faster than other people. Society has taught me the safe and secure thing to do is hurry buy that thing, and debt is bad, and try to get it paid off. This isn't debt. It's not at least bad debt. It's not a boat. It's not a credit card. It's an asset producing. You want as much asset producing assets as you possibly can, which means borrow as much as you can on the right strategy of the right kind of real estate. I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the great secrets of building wealth. Lynn, great question. Okay, I've got a question here from Jordan. Jordan, what's up, buddy? You're one of my partners. Any suggestion on what bank to use and what is a good term? What are interest rates? What interest rate should I be looking for? My credit is 750. By the way, that's a good credit score. Best term I can find is 5.2% for 15 years at 20% down. Too high for right now? Okay, well, a couple of things to share with you. Investment lending, and Jordan, and primary residence lending are not the same thing. These are rates when you're buying a home, a primary residence. But when you buy investment grade real estate, our average rates right now are closer to mid to 3 highs, sometimes low 4s. It depends on how much real estate you bought. The problem that you're having right now is there's a weird phenomenon happening in the banking industry right now. If you put 20% down, you will get a higher rate than if you put 25% down. Normally there's like no difference between 20 and 25% down. Right now for banks, they're cautious about this COVID thing, and they're just thinking, I'm going to cover my butt. So I'm going to I'm going to incentivize you. If you put 25% down instead of 20, it's just a little bit more money, and guess what? I'm going to actually give you a huge rate drop. So you as my partner, when you talk to Derek and Ryan and my team, we're evaluating whether it makes sense to put 20 or 25% down. But I do have one more comment that is super important on this: 15 years. Don't do 15-year mortgages if it's an investment. Dude, if it's your primary residence and you want to like bump your payment up 25, 35% because you want to pay it off in 15 years, dude, like go do it. That's totally cool. Do not, I learned this the hard way. On like when I was buying my next round of 20 homes after I become financially free, I started using 15-year mortgages. I got slaughtered on those deals. Cash is king, and you manage that with a 30-year mortgage instead of a 15-year mortgage. So that's my rule. Lastly, you say, where should I go? What banks? talk to our team. I've got a network of the best banks, and because I do so many hundreds of millions of dollars of portfolio lending, whatever I get is going to be the best rate we're ever going to see. Great question. Awesome. All right. Man, you guys are lighting it up with such great questions. And while we're getting our next question lined up, here's the recap. Right now, will there be a bubble? Friends, we are not going to fill a bubble like 2008. And whatever goes foreclosures to the bank, it's going to be buying season. You need to get prepared, and you should already be buying as much as you can right now. Number two, real estate values. They're going to be strong. And as they're strong, that appreciation adds to your cash flow and tax benefits. You want to cash in on that. The more homes, the better. As long as you're using the right strategy, which means that you're being strategic. Which means, for me, you're buying single-family homes under $200,000. The average price point is $142,000. If you want to learn how to cash in on real estate, it doesn't matter what your credit is, doesn't matter how much money you have. That's my lease option strategy out of my book, and I'm going to go and teach you step by step how to do this like a course. And I'm going to teach you how to do that at Ignite Financial Genius. You're going to see a link for that. That's my next live, first ever virtual training. So anywhere in the world, come and join and let me show you how to cash in right now. And then lastly, if you got some assets sitting aside, you could also text me at the number and say, hey Chris, dude, do you have leftover deals? Show me what those look like. I've never seen a deal with a 25% ROI. I'm like, well, that's what my last several thousand look like. Let me hook you up. All right, some final questions for today, my friends. This one comes from Heath. What's up, dude? Heath says, if I am in a primary residence, but I want to sell it and buy a new primary residence, can I still buy it at 3% down, or is it just a one-time deal? Heath, really good question. What you're referring to is when you get this 3% down, they call it a first-time homebuyer's loan. Did you know that every time you move and buy a house, you get a first-time homebuyer's loan? Means that you could move 20 times and put 3% down 20 times. So, good news for you. By the way, should Heath sell his house or not? Heath, I don't know if you should sell your house right now. There's two ways to cash out. One is to sell, and property values are really strong right now, so that could be the right move. But did you know one of my biggest regrets was when I sold my first time ever house? If I had kept it, I would have had a second cash flow producing asset, but I could have done the refinance to pull the money out. And if you're not sure the pros and cons of which you should do, ask for a free game plan right here on my number that you just texted on, and I'll have someone from my team call you, and we'll run that scenario for you. Awesome, brother. Rock it. All right, let me see. We got one from Blake Carter. Great questions today, guys. By the way, if you guys are liking live, I don't go live very often like this, but if this has been useful for you, do me a favor on the YouTube link, comment below and say, Chris, let's do this again, or I really like going live. Light that up and cast your vote, because I pretty much just do this on demand based on what you want. All right, Blake texted me and he said, is buying a duplex as your first home and renting it out better than getting a single family home and renting it out for a 2-year period of time? Blake, I like the way that you think. Let me show you my first house I ever bought. You might have seen it in one of my videos. It had a basement. It was a 1-bedroom basement that I rented for $600 a month. And I bought my house on my mortgage. It was $570 a month. So I lived upstairs in the 3-bedroom portion. I rented out my basement, and I got to live for free. Now, I had what's called a mother-in-law apartment. And in real estate, there's different designations. You could have an accessory apartment. It could be called a mother-in-law, or it could be a duplex. If it's called a duplex, usually you have a hard time getting a good deal on those. So I always look first for accessory apartments and mother-in-law apartments, basically houses that are built that way, but they have different code. For example, in a mother-in-law, you have to personally live in the house to rent the other portion. In an accessory apartment, you don't have to live in it to be able to rent it out to someone separate. And in a duplex, it just doesn't matter. It can be just 2 separate parties altogether. I will tell you, if your local market supports homes with mother-in-laws, basements that you can rent out, things like that, I highly recommend looking for a single-family home that has some of those extras. You will always get more cash flow on those deals. I would say maybe only 1 in 10 deals I buy has that. So whenever I do, it's a bonus to my cash flow, and I like it. So, great question. All right, guys, we're wrapping up. We're going to see if we got any final questions before we close down today. I do want to remind you, the only way previously to actually have me be your mentor is to pay thousands of dollars in tickets, airfare, and hotels and come to one of my quarterly live events. This is my event center, dude. This is where I light it up and make it happen. November, what are the dates? In November, I'm holding my very first virtual event.
13th, 14th, 15th.
It's the 13th, 14th, and 15th of November. Mark your calendar. I designed it where it's like in the evenings on the first and second day, and then it's all day Saturday. And I did that because you don't have to get work off for the most part to be able to actually participate in this. You're going to want to get to a calm, quiet place. You're going to want pen and paper, and you're going to need to be prepared to interact because I'm going to be throwing up polls. We're going to be jamming with each other. And the ticket to attend is only $199. But if you don't have a life-changing experience at the end, I will charge a credit card. You just tell me as much by dropping an email. I'm trying to make it as risk-free as possible because I want to help thousands of you get not just the big picture of this. I need you to get the step-by-step nitty-gritties, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So make sure you come. Last question of the day. By the way, if I did not respond to you, but you did message me, I'm going to work feverishly today and tomorrow, and we're going to bust it out until we make sure that we address you. We can only do so much on this live call. This is from Tejas Shaw. Just about to start my study in getting my real estate license. I live in a small town where every year we have almost 700 to 800 apartment buildings up. So should we consider this as a sign of importance in terms of land? Because I'm confused what I should do as soon as I get my license. Okay. First of all, I don't have my real estate license. I love leveraging people that do. And that's because when you have a real estate license, you're saying, I want a job in real estate. I don't want a job in real estate. I want to invest in real estate. If I have a job in real estate, I can make good money, but I lose my time. If I own real estate, I get my time back and I get to make money. But if you've got to have a job to make some extra money anyway, for some people, being a realtor is a really good move. So your first move is this, buddy. You have got... Sorry, turn that off. I'll just keep talking right here. Here's what you need to know. The government's always listening. The government's always listening. So it is. So if I was a brand new real estate agent, here's what you have to do. You have to call around and find the most successful broker and the highest grossing agent, and you've got to convince them that you want to be on their team, and they're going to ask you to forfeit a higher percentage of your commissions to work on their team, and you would be stupid if you didn't take the deal. You should do everything in your power to be mentored by a high-powered agent that is moving so much real estate that they're making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars as a realtor so that you can then buy investment-grade real estate. So that's what I would do if I were you. Hopefully that helps.
Correction.
Market calendars for Ignite Your Financial Genius for November 12th, 13th, and 14th. That is a Thursday evening, night, Friday evening and night, and all day Saturday. That's in November. That's only like 3 weeks away. So click the link, get yourself registered, and when I'm there with you for those 3 days, I'm basically going to go dive deep, step by step, and show you during this pandemic that if you don't in 5 years walk away a millionaire, it's because you did something wrong. So my friends, the timing is now, the timing is right. Thank you for joining today. Make sure you guys are subscribers. Save my phone, message me anytime you guys have a question. I'm here to help you crush it in the game of real estate. Be well.